We are live. Welcome back to. I really should uh number these. Uh, Welcome to the 10th episode. Don't let me forget. 10th episode of the Apache podcast. Uh, Recent event, the government reopened, so we're going to be talking about that. We're going to talk about SNAP benefits, air traffic controllers. Yeah, what the damages look like. Um, it's what, 40, is it 41 days, 42 days? Um, Something like that. Um, 40 plus days, maybe even more, maybe even more. Is it 40 exactly? 41. Reopened? I don't know if they might be voting for it today to get it reopened, but but I know that 8 Democrats voted and voted on behalf uh to reopen it. So, what do you think, man? Do you think I think it's long overdue, but I mean, obviously there are um some thoughts that people aren't, you know, um some thoughts that the Republicans shouldn't bend um to the well. And it was, we shouldn't be able to allow medic, not like give Medicare to the immigrants, but uh, that is what it's being used for. So, what do you think? Yeah, yeah. No, it's from our tax dollars. Yeah, right, right. Yeah, yeah. There's already people from the Democrat side saying like, how dare you? Um, how I think it's the majority leader. How dare you? You know, voting on behalf. You should be ashamed of yourself for not holding back and pushing the Republicans into what they want. So they're asking for like resignations and alike across the board now. But I don't know. I think that for me to even be able to justify uh, some of this, I have to kind of view it from like what's what's the amount of money that the Republican or that the Democrats are asking for to essentially subsidize these immigrants or whatever their policy that they want medical policy that they want to push. And and you look at the amount of damages and cost that the government has caused. Is it really, maybe fair is a bad word, but is it reasonable? to hold the American hostage, essentially. Um, and did the American people pay long term? Just just because they want to hold back on this medical policy. Yeah, yeah, right, 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 Doge as in the government efficiency department. Hmm. Right. Yeah. Yeah, the money essentially never goes or never is never being used as intended. Um, and I think that's yeah. I mean, I think that the idea behind it is a great idea, but as far as, are the benefits being used to what their, purposes are? Sure, you can argue for it, but I'm willing to say that, maybe 50% is using, SNAP benefits, unemployment benefits to where it should be, and the other half, people who are claiming the benefits are abusing the system for one, and two, not using it where it should be. Um, but I don't know. If if we were to talk about, and you mentioned this a little bit, and the more I listen to you, the more I tend to agree where the benefits are essentially there for a break, to help you out in transition from, from job to job, or if you had a life emergency. But um, uh, the point where I would say, sure, but where's your savings? Where's your emergency fund? Where's all of that? And of course, I understand, in in today's economy, we might not have that luxury to be able to save, um, you know, $10,000 or $20,000 for 3 months of right. A lot of lack of financial education, and and to be honest, I blame the Department of Education for this. I won't go into too much about it, but instead of teaching, sex ed at 8 years old, uh, I think these people should be, or whatever grade they are. But I think, once you get into middle school and high school, there's a lot more valuable skills, such as, what does what does financial literacy look like? What does creating a business look like? What does an LLC look like? What is an S corp, a C corp? What is the difference between all of them? And in the grand scheme of business, I think that's where our generation lacked the most, is that. But yeah, right, right. I'm not against, yeah, yeah. Um, I'm gonna speak out of this is okay. So I don't have a college degree, so I I might not be the best person to speak on this. However, I'm in a highly sought after career field. I'm in computer science, not my degree, but my field of career. And me and my wife actually just had this discussion. One of her friend is, struggling to find a job. Not, of course, I asked her and said, does she have a degree? And she's like, yeah, she has a music degree. I'm like, okay, and what was her goal? What was she planning to do with that degree? And she's like, well, she's teaching music. And I said, okay, teaching music as in like a teaching degree, or teaching music as in playing instrument? There's a differences in that. And she told me there's like, yeah, her study uh was in teaching music. And I said, okay, but and I said, yeah, but teachers also gets paid bare, I mean, bare minimum. Um, and if you were to, if any teaching related, even professors are okay. Professors do make decent money, um, but they also require a master's degree, or higher, in to be a professor. So if you were to be any sort of, teacher, I mean, you're gonna have a pretty tough time, when it comes to like financials. I mean, I'm not saying that for all, but on average, I do know that the teachers don't exactly make bank. And I'm willing to say 50,000 ish is what I'm. Yeah, 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 yeah. And it depends. I mean, obviously, it depends on the subject you're teaching. Some subject, require heavier education, expertise. Maybe you need a physical therapy degree for if you want to be a PT, if you want to be a PE teacher, or sports medicine, and the alike. But I think that and of course I got into the conversation of double major, and I said, hey, if someone were to study, um, why not study double major? It's a little bit more effort, but at the same time you're getting more. You can study one career field, or one degree field for interest, and another one to fall back on, maybe business, maybe computer science, maybe one of the STEM fields. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's better now. I think it's better now. Right, right, right. I mean, even even if you are so sure that you want to be in this career field for the rest of your life and you want something out of it, for example, music or theology or communications or art, the amount of competition out there, okay, I mean, obviously business and computer science is also heavy, but you're also going against other people in in these career fields who are you know extraordinaires, geniuses in their career field, and interest is not going to be enough. Like, hey, I like art or I like music. It's not going to be enough to for an employer to or to really land a self-sufficient career for you. And I would agree with you. If you were to study, at least have a STEM field as a backup. And I think that another thing that the colleges doesn't really teach well is and this might be you know uh, depend half and half is I wish the schools high school or even college entry to college classes teaches trade schools, um, basic electrician, basic plumbing, basic auto mechanics. You don't need to go into in depth, but if 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 colleges gives a basic intro to these classes, I think it can go a long way. It gives you an alternative. Most people think like, okay, after high school, what now? College or military, or career or military, and obviously not a lot of people have the ability to, the money to go into college or interest to go into the military. So you give them, I personally don't have the attention span for sure, for sure. Right, right. Snap. We got okay. We got Ian. So Ian is part of um, traits are needed. Absolutely, they're needed. I mean, I think some certain traits are critical backbone of infrastructures. I mean, obviously, you need electricians, you need automotives, you need specific kinds. But if we're going back to immigration, um, I think immigrations is complicated. It, you know, in what way? So obviously, I only hear one of you guys. Who do you hear? Ian.
Yo, maybe you can hear me now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I haven't been
Oh
up the whole
shoot.
time.
Oh no.
I thought your audio was picking up the.
No, it was I forgot to mute you in Discord.
Okay, I
That
guess
was
it's
my
fine.
bad. That was my bad. All right, how about now?
Okay. No, I unmuted myself on
Okay. Well,
Microsoft.
hey, welcome back to episode 10 of the the Apache podcast. We kind of
That's
started 20 minutes earlier.
that's okay.
Technical difficulties, but thanks, Ian. Huge help there. So Ian is actually part of the sociology Discord that I'm in. So it's this I think it's University of Penn State that
Uh-huh.
goes over current event discussions like this. And of course, the professor
Hmm.
discuss current events with the students. Super interesting, and that's how I and I guess got acquainted with Ian. So thanks for there 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 it is. Turn up your audio. So you got to be higher or something. I think you're good now.
All right.
But Ian, immigration. So we're essentially talking about what is the how bad do we need all the illegal immigrants out of the country, and what does it
Well,
look
what are your
like?
thoughts? You didn't answer the question.
My thoughts is that it's
I can
impossible.
answer first if you want.
Go for it. Go for it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you might say it's impossible. I think it's possible to get every last one of them, but I think it's possible to get the vast majority of them. So we've had 1.6 million self deports and then 400 deportations through force. And I think it's going to be hard this next year to keep the quota because the vast majority of them, I mean, triple the or quadruple the amount of people have self-deported, and that's because we just initiated the policy. We
Hmm.
should see more deportations in the following years, but they're not going to be as many as the first year.
Right.
So over time, uh, we're going to need to be a little bit harsher. And people have been saying, "Oh my God, they're pulling them away." Yes, because they came here illegally. We gotta for us to be able to start new, we need to get rid of all of the old ones and then allow them. I mean, I wouldn't even say I don't even want mass immigration. I don't want legal immigration. I want no immigration. I want a immigration moratorium for for the next couple of years. I think the amount of people we're not going to be able to I mean, if there really is, I mean, some estimates put it as high as 50 million. Trump's put it at 25 million.
We'll
I'll
put it
settle
at
on 20
we'll do a
million.
20 million for
Yeah, I'll settle on
for
20
safe
million.
for safe
Say we
bet.
even get 15 million out. We still have 5 million illegals still left in the country we have to care for. These people aren't productive members of society. Um, the vast majority of them, even though the Democrats may think that they are, they're not. The vast majority of them abuse the entitlement programs, SNAP, unemployment. Well, not an unemployment because you literally, but SNAP and some of these other free resources that are given out through their local governments. A
Yeah.
lot of these people abuse the entitlements through our system. So not only do we need to deport these people, we need to revamp our systems, and I think we need to integrate a 28th Amendment that literally requires ID, real
Voter
ID.
ID for
So I'm not a fan of how I mean I think at bare minimum, and this is not because I'm a Republican or anything like that. This is because
so how would you though?
identifying the people that are in our country.
How would you get rid of 20 or so, 15 plus or so million
Oh, I
individuals?
mean just keep doing what we're doing.
So
Grabbing them and taking them and then deporting them
I
through
I,
our
th
system.
I think it's this is a very complicated issue. I understand the idea behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree that you broke the law, therefore you should be
Mm-hmm.
sent back to where you're coming from. Let me just get that very clear. That's where I stand.
And you should be sent
Um,
back to the back of the line too. That's another. thought process of mine as well. But
Sent
go
back
ahead.
to the line for re-entry.
Sent to the back of the line. So
What do you
there's
mean by
people
back
in
to the
line.
line?
There's a lot of people in line, so we have to process them as they
Oh,
come
oh,
in
oh, yeah,
to
yeah.
send them to the back. No, we don't send their applications to the front. No, they broke the
No,
law.
no, no, no. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
back to the line for re-entry.
yeah,
Right, right, right.
yeah.
And as much as I have to look at why immigration was created in the first place.
Hmm.
Of course, you can argue from both sides. So I'm gonna argue
There's a
from
few reasons
I'm gonna
for
argue
sure.
from the Democrat side.
Sure.
Obviously, they're not gonna go out and tell you this. This is, kind of kind of ugly truth.
Hmm.
But a pretty silly question is, why do Democrats want all of these illegal immigrants or immigrants, period, into the country?
More votes.
More votes. They're essentially buying. They're saying,
Republicans
hey,
want them for cheaper labor, and Democrats want them
I don't. I
for
think cheap. I
votes.
think you can argue both sides for cheap labor, but
Sure, both sides. But
primarily
Democrats tend to be more business, or
more
sorry, Republicans tend to be more
more
business
business
oriented.
related. Right, right.
Yeah,
And I think that the Democrats essentially are offering these incentives, these tickets to New York, these hotel stays to New York, and saying, hey,
yeah.
we get you here. Now you owe us a favor, right?
Well,
You vote
they're not only importing them to these big states, they're importing them
everywhere
to
around
these
the world,
states.
around the world.
Yeah, but specifically, they're importing them to some of the purple states to to
Purple
turn the vote.
states. Oh, oh,
The swing
the swing
states.
states. You think
Yeah.
so?
No, they are. It's been
Okay.
report. I mean, let me get some data. I mean, I'll get some data later, but they are doing this. They're sending buses up to these states that kind of have a swing on them. So, I mean, it makes sense. They want. I mean, if they want their votes to be counted, then they have to swing it up because votes are based on the electorate, not the populace.
Right, right.
Just because you send a state and count. I mean, a lot of them tend to stay. They'll incentivize them to. Obviously, once they go in, they're not going to hold them to whatever they want, but they'll incentivize them to go up there. But yeah,
Yeah. I think, yeah, yeah. I mean, that would make sense that they're essentially, uh, having mass exodus of people
mm-hmm.
to certain towns, certain cities, just to swing. Um, my cat's being annoying. Um, to be able to swing the vote, one way or another. But
Yeah,
I,
whether it's to get a Democrat into Congress or a vote for president. I mean, they want it all. I mean,
I,
I think they're. I mean, they tell you not to. I mean, the one of the rules in life is to like do not attribute
hmm
um,
hmm
ignorance to malice or to error. Or so what is it? Lack of foresight to malice. But I think it's more malicious than people tend to think it is. I don't think it's solely based on empathy. I don't think that's why
No, no, I don't
these.
think it is empathy. I think
Yeah,
it's to get advantage of the system,
yeah.
whether or not, they see it or not. But at this,
Ian should some fool. That's a thing. But guess how many people would come in if they actually passed those tests, Ian?
I,
Almost not. Very few.
well, I
It takes
mean,
them a while to integrate and
it, it,
assimilate.
it's true. I don't think that just because of basic, you speak English, you can take a citizenship test. You should be, made, um, to come into the States. I really don't think so. So my argument and another argument for the Democrat, I guess for Republican, you can say is cheap labor, right? I'm against. I don't think that's a fair
He also said while remaining in our country, Ian, so they get to
by remaining in the
stay
country.
near.
So he's arguing for people. He's
Yeah,
essentially advocating for the people who are already here, uh,
to assimilate.
to assimilate, through a
Hmm.
process. I'm fine with a few. I would agree with that sentiment,
Hmm.
more so than everybody get the hell out of the country, which obviously I don't think it can happen. I also don't think it's reasonable. However,
Okay,
there,
let's
there,
argue that
there,
side then. Why don't you think it's reasonable?
I don't think it's, I don't really have a good excuse for it. It's just that
Mhm.
I'm thinking it from a more of a
Is it because you
sympathetic,
feel yeah, okay.
empathetic way
Yeah.
because people have been, situated here for 2, 3 decades, and you're
Hmm.
just sending them back home, sending them back to countries that
Hmm.
potentially doesn't even exist anymore. Um,
Hmm.
and that's where I'm like, and not that the country don't exist anymore. If you look at certain deportations that the Trump administrations has been deporting, I mean, we've deported people from anywhere to everywhere. Um,
Hmm.
not only where where they originate from, but anywhere.
Hmm.
Um, Anywhere they would take them, El Salvador,
Yeah.
Venezuela, uh, Iraq, Iran, all those places. I mean, imagine sending a a Filipino family to
Hmm.
Syria, for example.
No, we would obviously deport them to their country of origin.
Right. But I would hope so. But there is individuals. There's one recent case, Kilmore Abrego. I don't know if you heard of this name before.
Mm.
Very, very somehow this guy
Big
made
case, right? Yeah.
big case with immigration,
He
and
was a
we
he's
don't
a
know
killer.
where
I
to
mean,
send him.
he's a literal
He's a
felon.
gang member. He's a gang member.
Yeah.
I think
And he was
MS-13.
lucky not to be sent back to his country.
Is it? I forget if he's MS-13 or Trinidad Aragua. But he
Yeah.
is a uh ex whatever,
Yeah.
ex gang or current gang whatever. But I do know
Yeah.
that
I have absolutely no sympathy for him whatsoever.
I don't have sympathy for any gang member related that essentially targets innocent citizens, especially you've
Who
been
broke multiple laws while he was
given
here.
chances to reside within the United States. Yeah, I really don't have any excuse except just sympathy for the individuals that are here. However, I am willing to, I do like Ian's uh, point where there should be some sort of, it's essentially a version of not checks and balances. What's the word I'm looking for? Um, Damn, I can't think of it. It's a political term, but it's
Used to what?
before you send people back, you need to do a process. Um, okay,
Talking about?
that's no, that's gonna kill me if I don't think of it.
I'm talking about the
Uh,
Biden. Yeah, I'm not talking about the Biden. I'm talking about the immigrants who have been here for 2 decades or more. I mean, I would definitely be willing to use that as a compromise. It's the only problem is that some of these immigrants were not able to
Due
identify how
process,
long they
sorry,
were
due
here.
process. That's the word I'm looking
Due
for.
process.
Due process.
Yeah, no, that's a privilege that's allowed to United States citizens, and
It,
it's a right that's given to United States citizens and a privilege that's been given to some
yeah,
of these people.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
not that I don't. It's I think it's completely. We shouldn't be
Hmm.
expanding the same rights to some of these,
No, no, no.
even to the illegal immigrants who don't break any laws.
Right, right. This is where I
We do
would
give
agree
them due
with you.
citizens. We do give
Due
them due
process
process, though.
to a degree.
But yeah.
I do agree with you that, and I think this is where we can meet in the middle, including Ian, is that, for example, if we did have 20 million
Hmm.
immigrants, illegal immigrants, we look at their contribution essentially. I
Hmm.
personally, as a United States citizen, I would say if you're not contributing, regardless of who you are, how old, status, where, when, how you
Hmm.
came into the United States, if you're not contributing to the United
They
States
don't have a social security. They don't have a
or
social
economy,
security.
it doesn't matter. You don't need Social Security. You just need an I-10. You can work
No,
under.
that's how we know they're not
Oh,
contributing.
how they.
They don't have a social security, so they
True,
don't pay taxes. The
true,
vast majority of
true.
them don't pay taxes.
Yeah,
They work under the table through a lot
yeah,
of these businesses.
yeah. I think we would need to. I don't know. I don't know. Now it's even more tricky to find a way to really um
I would almost be I mean I would be willing to compromise like but that's I just want to get rid of the I mean when I'm speaking of immigrants I'm specifically speaking of the Biden immigrants which is the vast majority of the illegal ones.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm willing to say
Yeah, I'm not talking
the
about
thing is
talking about
uh,
immigrants. Yeah,
um,
yeah,
there may be no way of telling, and I'm not going to halt the processes of them to figure out whether to be in a long disputed disagreement whether they're in here or not. Because if we do that for one of them, then we have to verify all of them to see if
yeah,
they've been here for 20, and then they can allege that they've been here for 20 years, and then it's maybe there's ways to tell. I mean, but then how do we tell? Do we go talk to all their friends and family and we rely on their testimony?
yeah. No,
It
that's not
seems
gonna
more
go.
complicated going that way and leaving some of the people that have been here 20 years and have abused and literally every illegal immigrant has broken the law. I mean, there's
Hmm.
not a single illegal immigrant that hasn't broken the law. It would be an oxymoron to state that.
Yeah.
I
No,
don't even think we should. I don't even think we should prioritize get. I mean, if it comes up and we're able to get a criminal who's currently breaking the law within the country, yeah, we should go for that one first if it's available. But any illegal immigrant able to get out to push them out illegally and availably, we should get them and we should deport them. I don't think this is a stance we should be too lenient on because countries need borders. When you break that law, you are subject to the
you
subject.
are absolutely without a doubt. But I think I don't know. This is a weird one because I essentially I like for the people that yeah you're right. You know there is really not a way to measure contribution to to the United States. Um, but okay, here's a question though. If I was to ask you that it is impossible to send everybody back, to, all 20 million, and
Mm-hmm.
only 5 million gets to stay. How would you vet
Mm-hmm.
those 5 million? And what are the criterias that those 5 millions gets to stay while the rest of the 15 million? So the reason why I mentioned this is we mentioned earlier self-deportation, and I think that yeah, I think self-deportation. There's what you mentioned. There's like what 1.5 million already have been
Yeah,
self-deported, something like
around
that.
1.5. Yeah.
And I said, well, how many of those are how many of those self-deportation are you know mm, whether it's a scare tactic or they they were um
They also get paid
right,
$10,000 to
right, right.
self-deport. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's
So it's
the reason why
so
they were doing it is because they
I
want the
mean
money.
if they yeah well
Self-deport,
if
come
they
right back
get
in.
caught yeah if they get caught and they don't get the money they're like holy fuck
Yeah.
I didn't get paid. So
And I think
you either
that's
self-deport and
essentially
get paid or
that's
you
what they
can get
want
deported through force.
through force. Right, right. But how, I mean, how would you, I mean, do you want
I'm on a
all
no.
15 million to self-deport or do you
I mean
have to
that would be ideal but
force?
impossible. Yeah, no, we have
Okay,
to force them.
so that means you're gonna have to force grandpa, grandmas get the hell out of the country.
Yeah.
Okay. I
I
mean,
mean it seems
I don't have
unempathetic but
I don't have a
like
problem with that, but it's just I don't know. I don't know.
there is a bit of a moral I mean moral dilemma but it's like we have to prioritize our own legal citizens before our illegal ones who put a burden on our society through
Well, it's not
the
only that,
entitlements they take.
it's everything. Safety, economic, societal. There's
Yeah,
plenty of
I think the
reasons.
biggest impact is economic though. I think most people tend to be more civil.
I would put more civil, more safety related. I mean,
No, no,
you know,
most people
majority
are.
of people we've kicked out by force are gang related, are violent individuals, murderers,
Yeah,
rapists. Those are the people that, you know, front of the line, get the head of the
yeah,
country, send them to, you know, or whatever there's a free spot. And Ian mentioned most of the raids have been targeted with warrants. Yeah, you know, most of
yeah.
the people that most
Oh yeah,
we,
yeah.
we
No,
do
we do it
target.
through we're nice. We're nice like that. That's what I think. We
That
give them
that's
we
that's
give them
I think,
privileges afforded that should only be afforded to. We give them their civil rights that are afforded to that should just be afforded to the U.S. citizens, but are afforded to
yeah.
illegal foreign immigrants. So,
Yeah, I
I mean,
think
but that's what the founding fathers kind of meant by writing in the Declaration of Independence when they wrote, "We find these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator with some unalienable rights that
well, yeah, but all of that
some
really
agreements."
applies to the US citizens, so I don't think that,
Well,
oh,
no, they
US
found these
citizens
rights
and
to be
immigrant.
universal, that they apply to every human.
Uh, yeah,
We
you
aren't
mean from a
taking those
human rights,
rights,
you
but
mean human rights perspective.
yeah,
Yeah,
unless you see the reason the conflict is that their presence oppresses
or a
others,
threat, yeah,
whether
to others, yeah.
intentionally or unintentionally, it does because I mean, they take entitlement programs. They cause illegal stuff like they've been caught. A lot of them
Okay.
have been
So
caught
so,
doing
go,
crimes.
so going back to my question, if 5 million were allowed to stay, how would
Hmm.
you how would you vet the 5 million and what are the criteria? Same goes to
But
you, Ian.
no, I
Same
wouldn't
question.
allow 5 million to
You
stay. I
wouldn't?
mean, it seems not only does it seem arbitrary,
How
it
many
seems
how many would
excessive.
you allow to stay? Or
Zero.
if any, okay.
Yeah, zero.
Even if there was a way to measure their contribution, economic,
Well, if
societal,
they've had some contributions, they've already been naturalized.
not necessarily. There's people
Well,
who
not
there's people
everyone,
who
but a lot of them
refuse to
have.
have
A lot of some,
citizenship.
sorry, not a lot. Some of the illegals have been naturalized
Yeah, yeah,
to illegal citizens. So
yeah. But I mean, I'm not.
I would do zero. I would put it. I don't affording privileges. It seems arbitrary and definitely unfair to the people that have self deported as well. So it would incentivize them to say in some sense as well. If we were going to at the last 5 million, we're going to allow people to stay off some metric that is afforded to the people that didn't self deport. It seems weird to me.
Right, right. Okay.
I kind of reject the premise there.
Yeah, you're pretty much finding a loophole around the system. But I don't know. I'm trying to play devil's advocate because I know
Yeah.
obviously it is impossible to uh fortunately or unfortunately to get rid of all 20 plus million
Mm-hmm.
immigrants. But there but I think there needs to be a method, okay, from today on to measure contribution for, you know, from the illegals and potentially naturalize the people
For
who
illegals,
huh?
what do you
A
mean?
process for the illegals, correct? For the illegals to naturalize by,
No, I don't. Okay, maybe that's how you want it, but I don't want that.
I mean, obviously not 20 million. I don't want all 20 million to be naturalized. No, I don't.
I don't want any
That's
to
what
be
I'm saying.
naturalized. I think if anybody should be naturalized, it should be the ones that self-deported. So,
For the free money.
well, yeah. I mean, they're more expensive if they don't self-deport. They're like double the price to deport if they don't take the money. So it's like giving them the money is actually cheaper than us having it. It's like $20,000 for us
Is
to
it?
deport
I
them
actually don't know how
forcefully.
much
Yeah,
it is to kick someone out of
yeah.
the
The
country.
average, I think it was actually 14,000. So it's a little bit like 5,000 over. But those are some conservative estimates at 14,000. So it might be actually closer to 20.
Hmm. The problem is that
I
other
do have to get
countries,
going though now.
yeah,
So
no worries.
if you want to
Last
continue the
part.
podcast,
No. I gotta wrap it up here too. So it's actually perfect time. 45. The problem is that other countries don't send criminal records to vet them. Well, yeah, but it's we don't. we don't really care about what other countries send. It's that they're whether if they come in
Well,
here as a saint or not a saint,
yeah,
they're
yeah,
still coming in illegally at the end. I mean, if
yeah. I
Jesus
mean, they don't
Christ,
even
for
know. A lot
example,
of them
came
don't
into the
even.
country, it,
Yeah.
it doesn't
Well, if
matter.
Jesus Christ came into the country, no, I would make an exception, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah, hypocrite.
Well, no, it wouldn't be hypocrite. I mean, I would literally be acknowledging it. It's not. I would make an exception for Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
But yeah.
but well,
Well,
hey,
he wouldn't need to be an exception. He would just
yeah,
be allowed.
he will just
Yeah,
put himself on the
he
list.
just will come into the country. There's no stopping it. But yeah,
Um, all right. Well, hey, thanks for watching. I'll
yeah,
be we'll be tuning in for the next session on Wednesday, the 11th. Don't let me forget the episode number.
12th.
It's
Oh, the
11th.
11th.
It's 11th.
Okay.
Yeah. Do
Yeah.
like, subscribe, follow, all that YouTube stuff.